All right, folks, thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Lisa Hill, and I am going to be bringing you folks through this Credo Reference demonstration. I'm going to start my slideshow right now. For those of you, Discus has been a subscriber of Credo Reference for a really long time. Many of you are familiar with us, and you're watching today just to see what's new, because we do have a refreshed platform that we released over the summer. And some of you may be seeing Credo Reference for the first time. So I'm going to try to be as thorough and as useful as I can over the next 45 minutes or so, and pop any questions into the questions and answers. Unfortunately, the chat is disabled on our end, but you can put in any questions that you might have into that box, and I will do my very best to answer them live. Heather, yes, we are recording this demonstration. All right, so let's talk about Credo Reference, shall we? So Credo Reference, think of us as an academic alternative to Wikipedia. And it's a place where you want to bring students who are trying to take their first steps away from Google, away from Wikipedia, and really do academic level research correctly for the first time. Use trusted resources, really start thinking about what a trusted resource is, basic resource evaluation, a place where students can really get their solid foundation, fact-based background information on any topic with images, so they'll be a little bit more confident and comfortable as they take their next steps in research. As you well know, I don't need to tell any teachers or librarians that the information landscape is complicated and is overwhelming and is getting more so every day. You guys know that beginning researchers or researchers in general sometimes don't know where to start. We talk to our customers and libraries, librarians, teachers all day, faculty members all day. It's part of what we do here. And we kind of hear the same things, right? Students don't ask for help. What are all these new tools coming to us every day? Do students use Google? Do they use Wikipedia? Do they use TikTok to get their information? Getting to the bottom of that is a struggle. We understand. So with Credo Reference, what we want is a simple research starting point where students can kind of clear the noise and get simple fact-based background information on any topic. We have some interactive tools like a mind map and some filters to help them really learn how to focus on what type of information they're looking for and how they can construct their search or use the platform to find what they're looking for, to develop those skills to help them evaluate resources and find what it is they're looking for in the research process. We also have simple integrations throughout the platform, including a federated search that will allow you to see results from the other resources your library subscribes to, even if it's not Credo or Infobase for that matter. And I'm going to give you a tour of those as well. Now, we are an aggregator of reference. So Credo Reference brings in content, full text content from over 100 publishers of academic reference. And this is a handful on the screen, as you can see. We also have interactive tools like our mind map. We've had it for years and years, and a mind map is embeddable and it's linkable. It's a great place to bring students that need to focus, narrow in their topic or expand their topic, or explore in their search or uncover new terms that maybe they'd never thought about before when they're researching a specific topic. It's a great place to challenge students to kind of step out of their comfort zone and dive into these terms and phrases that are brand new to them. And we also have a federated search, which we're going to dive into as well. I did mention this briefly, but this is a screenshot, what it looks like. So once you get your background information from those trusted publishers of reference, once you have that understanding of, in this example, what the Ottoman Empire was, or what a penguin is, or what a business plan is, once you have that background information, now what's next? We don't want your users to hit a dead end. We know that there's a lot of siloed content out there. So what we do is we open pathways within our platform to the other databases your library subscribes to, so that your students don't immediately run back to Google or TikTok or wherever it is they're getting their information. They can, with one click, go through to the other trusted resources that your library is providing. Credo Reference is also indexed in all of the major discovery systems. We offer MARC records. We offer authentication and access points of every stripe I don't think Discus is having any difficulty in any of these areas right now. You've been a customer for such a long time. If there were any access limitations, we would know about it by now. This slide's really for new customers, but we have you covered. This particular slide deck is available. I'll send it out as a follow-up so anybody can use it. This deck will give you a screenshot of just about every screen of the platform. If ever you guys want to do your own Credo demo or presentation in your own schools or campuses. Now you'll note I keep toggling, when I'm talking about to my audience, we have public librarians here today. We have K-12 librarians, and we also have academic librarians. So I'm kind of speaking in broad strokes. I'll do my best to make sure that I am cognizant of all of you here today with kind of different content sets. Credo Reference, think of Credo Reference as a platform, and the content set that your library might use might be slightly different than the other markets. So the higher ed content set might be slightly different than what you're going to find in the K-12 libraries. I'll try to call that out. The higher eds don't need to worry about finding Dorling Kindersley juvenile content in their collection, for example. All right, so let's go take a look at Credo Reference, and feel free to pop any questions that you have into that Q&A. All right, so this is the new home screen. Let me see if I can make this a little bit larger for everybody. I think it's going to have to do. This is Credo Reference, and when I do a demo of Credo Reference, I always start with the title list. To do that, you click on the 3 lines next to the Credo logo, and then you click Titles. I begin with this list, especially when talking to librarians, is because this is what's powering your Credo Reference search result page. So when you run a search in Credo, what you're doing is you're searching whatever collection it is you subscribe to. My demo account today has a collection, a core collection of over 1,000 encyclopedias, dictionaries, etc., from those 100 publishers of reference. But when you run a search in this top search bar on whatever it is you're searching, you're actually asking all of these books for content on that particular search term, and we'll return it on the result page. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do with the bookshelf. So you don't have to just use Credo as a place where you type in searches. You can use us like a bookshelf, a very flexible bookshelf. So if you have LibGuides, or if you have an A to Z list on your library website, or if you're a public library and you have a children's room that has its own website and you want to link to children's reference, you can use Credo's filters in our title list, and you can link directly to specific title sets. So before I dive into the fun of searching within Credo, I want to show you the functionality of the bookshelf, because this was super helpful a couple of years ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was this big pandemic. It was pretty difficult, and a lot of libraries closed. What Credo Reference is able to offer is your library's closed. We have that nonfiction, that reference content for the kids in your community that come into the public library to get their projects worked on. We have all those books online, full text that they can access from home with a library card. So let me kind of give you a tour of that. Same thing, by the way, if you're an academic institution, we have elite reference content for the higher academic subjects as well. So I want to show you functionality. So this is your title list. You can look from A to Z and see all of the content all at once, or you can use these filters over on the right. Now you'll note that I have the very top of the screen, it says copy link. I'm mousing over it right now. If I click on that, it basically copies the URL in your address bar. But this copy link is going to copy whatever filter you apply to the page. And these filters are found right here on the right. So I'm going to use a subject filter, and I'm going to say that I'm an academic librarian working in a university library. I'm building out an economics LibGuide. And I'm going to go down to economics in my business section, filter by that. And now I have 40 titles instead of over 1,000 titles. And this is basically a ready reference shelf of economics content. Every book has a full table of contents that's browsable, searchable, clickable. But I can now click that copy link up here, and I can just simply copy that link or paste that link right onto the LibGuide I'm building to create a automatic pathway to this screen for your economic students that are clicking on that LibGuides link. And I can do that for just about any subject on the list. I can get a lot more granular as well, but I'll show you that in a minute. If you're curious about what type of publisher content we might have available, or you might have available, you can scroll through here and pick and choose whichever publisher looks most interesting to you. So if I go ahead and click on Oxford University Press, you can see the 14 titles that we currently have from Oxford. And again, all of these books have standalone table of contents pages. They are the full text of the book. You're going to see exactly what you would read if you had the print version of this book open in front of you. You can search within this book with this search box right here. You can browse the table of contents. You can filter through to the articles within this book, or you can also filter through to the images found in the book as well. So you can kind of scroll through alphabetically from this table of contents, or you can take a look at all of the images in this book. This book might not be a book that has a ton of images in it, has 191, and they're not, full color or anything like that, but it seems to have a lot of maps. But those books that do have a lot of images, we'll see an example of that in a minute. You can see it's a very useful tool. And again, you have that copy link up at the top of the page here. So if you do find a book that you think that your library is going to use over and over again, go ahead and link to it anywhere you want to. Now, if you are a public library, right, and I mentioned we have juvenile reference in here, I'm going to go to the title contains box. I'm going to type in the letters DK for Dorling Kindersley, and you'll see our DK Eyewitness collection, 66 titles, which it's across every subject area. So it's like a small juvenile reference collection. And I'm sure if there's any public librarians on the call, any children's librarians in on this call, I know that you have print versions of these books on your shelf. I know they get checked out during the busy times of year when specific projects are assigned. I myself was a children's librarian for many years in a public library in Massachusetts, so I understand that. And this is also a great place to teach kids the difference between an ebook and a print book. You can come up and you can take the print book right off the shelf and say, hey, look, we have the exact same book online, and you can access it from home through the Discus website. And it's exactly the same book. Search for whatever it is you want to search for. I'll search for eagle. It'll give me results on eagles from this individual DK Eyewitness bird book. And all of these results are going to be only from the DK Eyewitness bird, and any images that we have of eagles will be found in that as well. That's new. There we are. So again, copy link, you can copy individual titles, or you can copy entire title lists. So if you want to link to the DK Eyewitness collection, just go ahead and filter first by the keyword DK, and then go ahead and click on that copy link. If you're an academic institution and you want to pull together a list of books on a specific topic, so we'll say, do we have any algebra titles in this collection? Let me see. Yeah, so algebra or geometry. Do we have any geometry books in here? No geometry. Algebra, or I'll put in math as a keyword. And I'm going to say, so we have foundations of math, handy answer, handy math, algebra, and 3 algebra books, and then an A to Z of women in science and math. Now I'm looking for math books specifically, so I'm not looking for biographies. So what I'm going to do is use the Boolean term not, and I'm going to remove the A to Z of women. So I'm going to use the keyword women, algebra or math, not women, and my new title list is going to be 5 titles long. And that one book will be removed. Now I just go ahead and copy that link, and I can link it. I can send it off to my math teacher. I can link it to my LibGuide. I can link it to my A to Z list for, math handbooks on my website. So feel free to use our books in this way and go ahead and click into any of these titles. You have that full table of contents, the search box, browsing, searching, and link right to it. All right, so that's using our title list as a title list. Now let's go take a look at how your students will probably approach Credo Reference. And that would be with that big search box on the front of the screen. So this homepage is intended to let your students know what we are, background information to start your research. We tell you exactly how many articles you're going to be searching within 1,000 different titles. Your students have the option of browsing by subject. If they're thinking of paper topics they might want to pursue, that's a good way to kind of dive into different subject areas that might be interesting. And then we also have research quick tips over on the right. And these are like little point of need. They're about a minute long each, little videos to help instruct the how of doing research. Research questions to your conclusion, paraphrasing how to select a topic, how to find relevant sources. Feel free to pepper your students with these videos as well as they are learning how to do research with Credo Reference. So I'm going to go ahead and run a search. Whenever I do a search and demo like this, I try to choose kind of fun topics because I'm trying to show the functionality, and I don't want to alienate anyone by choosing, a super academic title that maybe a public children's librarian would never use. And I don't want to use a children's title that, an academic librarian would find not helpful at all. So I tend to choose very generic topics. The topic that I'm going to choose today is Julius Caesar, and that's not necessarily generic, but it's a great topic to demo Credo, just because there's so much Julius Caesar content. It's in history, it's in religion, it's in philosophy, it's in cooking, it's in warfare, poetry, literature, everywhere. So it's a great way to kind of demo the functionality of Credo if you have a term that really crosses a lot of different subject areas like this one. So this is our search results page. Think of us as general knowledge, general reference. I'm happening to choose Julius Caesar. I could have very easily chosen aircraft or submarines or World War II or Buddhism, whatever your topic, you're going to get a result page that looks like this. We have a summary article taken from one of your over 1,000 Credo titles. This one's taken from the Chambers Biographical Dictionary. And this summary article is intended to give your students just the foundation. Why do we know the name Julius Caesar right now? Just give it that basic general knowledge, general reference overview article. You can click the read more link to get to the full text of this entire article, which would also give you the citation. As we scroll down, and we're going to look over on the left-hand side of the page for now, you're going to see results taken from different Credo encyclopedias and dictionaries. So Credo Reference, think of the word reference, means just that. When you search in Credo Reference, you're searching reference. Encyclopedias, dictionaries, atlases, handbooks, fact books. That list of titles that I showed you was all full text reference content. But when we run a search in the search box, we're not doing a title keyword search. We're doing an entry-level keyword search. So this brings up the Julius Caesar article from the Dictionary of Shakespeare. This one is the Cambridge Guide to Literature in English. This one is the Oxford Dictionary of Quotations, another Dictionary of Shakespeare, Bloomsbury Guide to Art, Encyclopedia of Ancient Egypt, Encyclopedia of Ancient Rome. So we're getting different subject perspectives. And this is also a super helpful tool if you're teaching your students basic resource evaluation. As you know, it's the Wild West on the internet right now. So in order to just start with the foundation building blocks, bring them to Credo and say, why do we want to choose a Julius Caesar article from the Encyclopedia of Ancient Egypt rather than the Encyclopedia of Shakespeare? Have them really think about those very basic questions and start asking those questions as they're looking for content for their papers. So Credo can be a really nice tool to help students start making good decisions and thinking about what resources they want to use in order to get better content for whatever it is they're researching. Now we're focusing on articles here from our title list. We have filters over on the right, and this is another tool, again, to help students think, I'm looking for information about, ancient Roman sport or the cooking of ancient Rome or Julius Caesar's conquest of, one of the conquests that his crossing of the Rubicon. You can use these filters over here to get very specific. It's also a neat tool if you are approaching a large topic like World War II or Julius Caesar or climate change, whatever. You click on these different subject areas. I'll click on film and television. And we're going to get results only from Credo's film and television results. Now, we're not getting Julius Caesar as the entry heading, but Julius Caesar will be referenced somewhere in the full text of these articles. So if I click on anachronism, I'm doing a Julius Caesar search. I filtered by film and television, and apologize for the speed here. My computer's a little slow today. And so as a student that's curious, I'm like, I don't even know what I can't even say it without seeing it. Anachronism is. I apologize for the speed. I wonder what's happening here. But this full text article, when it opens, will give us the context. Here it is. This is from the Encyclopedic Dictionary of Media, Entertainment, and Other Audiovisual Terms. So we're getting what an anachronism is, and then we can come down and see the word Julius Caesar in here and read a little bit more about it. So Shakespeare did not seem to care that the Romans did not have clocks that struck the hour when he used them in Julius Caesar. So it's an interesting little fact. You'll find these little tidbits that you might make you go, oh, and make a connection that you haven't thought about. Maybe you're a student that didn't realize there was a Shakespearean play called Julius Caesar, right? So there's a whole different things that you can do with our filters. You can filter by length, you can filter by copyright date, anything you like. So I'm going to clear that out. Now this is articles. We're at the article view. We can also filter by images. So any image of Julius Caesar or any image of a that is found on a page where Julius Caesar is referenced will display on the screen, and you can click on it to see the larger image. Or you can click into the actual heading to get to the full text of the article that includes that larger image. And again, my apologies for the speed today. Not the best demo day, as this is very slow. But it will bring you to the full text. It's going to have a little summation of the image and then a larger image, because I'm nearly certain that came from one of our Bridgman titles. We have a collection that's available to every Discus member. It's called the Bridgman Image Collection, and it has hundreds of thousands of images from museums around the world. And I might give up on this particular filter. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So you can see there's your full text of the article. This will tell you where it is. It's our Bridgman Images D'Agostini library images. And we'll come back to our Julius Caesar result page. So you'll be able to see the image display, the article display, and then lastly, the federated search display. So you come here, you get your Julius Caesar background information, you get your images about Julius Caesar, and then you click on My Library Resources. And here you will see results, federated results from the other databases your library subscribes to. I'm using a demo account. So this will display results from your library, or from Discus, I should say, from Discus's results. And with one click, you'll be able to continue on to that library's resources. I am not authenticated into Learn 360, but it would take your Discus authentication and pass it right through. You guys would not hit these Discus authentication logins once you've logged into Credo. I am not a Discus member. I went into Credo through the back door, so I can't get into Learn 360 to show you here, but it will bring you directly to that content in that other database. And you can display as many different databases that you subscribe to as you want. We also have search other sites links, and this, instead of showing you actual results like the relief carving of Julius Caesar, it just lists databases. So if I click, let me see if there's anything open here. It's all subscriptions. So I'm going to hit the Discus login no matter what I click. But you guys would have a seamless search into the other resources that Discus subscribes to using that federated search link. There we are. Now, you'll note that we also have a mind map on the screen, and this is probably one of the first things your students are going to see. I wanted to make sure you knew what you were looking at in terms of articles, images, and more library resources before I got into that. This is a mind map, and the mind map will allow you to choose different topics that are based on your search. So what you're looking at in the middle of the screen here is your search term, Julius Caesar, and it's surrounded by topics that will display with the greatest amount of frequency when you're reading about Julius Caesar in your Credo collection as a whole. So if you're reading about Julius Caesar in the Encyclopedia of Ancient Egypt, there's a really good chance you're going to run up against these other keywords: Roman Empire, Gallic Wars, First Triumvirate, because when you're talking about Julius Caesar, these are the terms that you're going to hear about frequently. This also acts like a steering wheel on the page. So if I click on Pompey or Cicero or Mark Antony, I'm going to get a new map, this time focused on Mark Antony and the topics that will show up with the greatest amount of frequency with him, but will also change my entire search result page in the background. So I clicked on Cleopatra, and you can see my recent searches down at the bottom here. I was doing a bunch of searches before today's demonstration. And I can click on Augustus, and I can choose as many different terms as I want to. If I want to return back to Julius Caesar, I can as well. So I'll go back and X out of here. We're now looking at Augustus content, right? Instead of Julius Caesar. And you'll see Augustus at the center of the map, but now I have articles from my Credo title list about Augustus, and I have images relating to Augustus. It won't all be Augustus Caesar because I've got Augustus as my search term, which means it's going to bring in other Augustuses as well. But that's a great reason to talk to students about why is that? What are we missing? We need to add the word Caesar to that search. And that will also bring in Augustus content when we're talking about our federated search view. All right, so I'm going to go back here, and I'm just going to run a few other searches on other topics so that you can all know that we're not just history and literature here. So I'm going to go ahead and run a search on the nervous system. And you'll see that we're going to get a summary article, articles about the nervous system, tons of images on the nervous system, a mind map that will connect to other topics about the nervous system, articles from the Macmillan Encyclopedia, Penguin Dictionary of Science, Human Body Book. If I open up this one, you'll see the full text of the article, including any images, charts, maps, or graphs. And again, I do apologize for the speed today. I am having a slow computer day, and it's really starting to show. You can talk amongst yourselves. Here we are. Here's the full text. Here are the great images that this book offers. Search other sites on the right here that will still allow you to continue your research outside of Credo if you want to. You have options on every full text article to save content, share it via email, copy, or embed. You can cite any of our content in 4 different formats: APA, Chicago, Harvard, MLA. You can also export out to your favorite citation management system. We have a read aloud functionality for those who are visually impaired, and a translate feature, which will translate your content using a Google Translate service into any one of over 60 languages. Go back here. You can see the different images that this that nervous system will pull up, and we have well over 300,000 images. There we are. And you can open up any of these images, see the larger image itself, or you can click on the article name and bring open that larger image with the full text. Spinal cord, as you can see. And if ever I want to get to this book's table of contents page, I just click the name of the book at the top of the screen here. And that will bring me to this book's table of contents page where I have that copy link if I want to link directly to it. And I can search just this book. I can look at my browsable, linkable, clickable table of contents, or these different articles alphabetically listed, or I can see all the images that this book contains. And go directly to that specific article with that specific image and find that content here. There it is. And you have all those citation functions and sharing functions and saving functions available to you here. All right. Let me show you a couple titles. Just want to make sure that you're aware you have access to just before we kind of wrap up here. I'm looking at a collection of over 1,000 titles, and I did show you, if you're a children's librarian, I did show you the Dorling Kindersley eyewitness content. We also have STEAM and STEM guides. So I'm going to type in STEM or STEAM, and that will give us 20 titles. STEAM guides, jobs, STEAM jobs, STEM every day. This is for younger users. The STEM every day would be for middle grade, while the STEAM guides would probably be for middle grade and high school level. And then let's see, go back into the titles here. Oh, get out of there. And I want to show you that we have the Handy Answer series. 35 titles here. You can see it's another kind of general knowledge, general reference collection of titles, but each title obviously focuses on a very specific topic. So if you have Native American heritage projects in your school every autumn, you can use this almanac. It's fantastic. You can link to it, search, browse articles. Back to titles here. That's STEAM or STEM. That was Handy Answer. We also have a Teach Yourself series. This is more for public libraries, or actually it's for anyone. Teach Yourself, and 54 titles. This is from Hodder and Stoughton. Teach yourselves anything from math and calculus. If you want to teach yourself calculus, this is actually one of my favorite titles because one of the first, they may have edited it. The original edition of this, like the first chapter was only have a minute. Like, do you only have a minute? And it summed up calculus for you. If you just had a minute, and you just wanted to know what calculus was real quick. But it looks like they don't have that in this edition, but it was one of my favorite things to demo. But that will help you out there. Let me put in native here. I know that a lot of, hold on a second, let me clear this. And completely refresh. There we are. I know I mentioned the Native American Almanac, but we have a number of titles here that are ideal for students doing projects, almanacs, encyclopedias, dictionaries, just solid, citable, fact-based reference with images. We also have information about like the US presidents and the US states and South Carolina specifically. There's a bunch of materials that you can find here. I encourage you all to come here and dive into this content just by doing title keywords or by diving into specific subjects. I've been focusing a bit on some of the public library and K-12 content here, but we do have a ton of content, obviously, for colleges and universities as well. Dive into any of these subject areas, and you're going to see we have solid content in just about every subject area, including well over 600,000 images. These images are all part of these books that you will find in this collection. And you're welcome to use them for research and educational purposes. One thing I want to show you real quick before I log off, we do have a LibGuides site. So for those of you that are LibGuides customers, let me go ahead and type in credoreference.libguides.com. We have ready-made guides that you're more than welcome to copy directly into your own LibGuides. As many LibGuides customers know, LibGuides is intended to be copied by different libraries. They're built to be copied and shared, and we built these specifically for our customers to be able to easily bring in the reference content that you subscribe to into your own LibGuides, so that with a few clicks, you can have a ready reference shelf at your fingertips. So with over 60 guides focused on specific subjects, these are all from the Academic Core collection, which many colleges and universities subscribe to. You'll see all the books that are part of that collection with ready-made links to content that have been curated within different subject areas. So you'll find this at Credo Reference, all one word, .libguides, all one word, .com. And I think we have a special guide that we made just for South Carolina, We did a few years ago. I hope it's still there. There it is, South Carolina in Credo. And I'll drop this into the chat so you can all see it, but an introduction to South Carolina. So we scroll down there. We have maps, flags. There's our mind map on South Carolina. Oops, let me pull out that. I must have. An embedded search box for South Carolina content there, and then books that touch on the history of South Carolina. A lot of them will be a lot more general knowledge, but they'll have chapters on South Carolina as well. Geography, history, and biographies, Native Americans, early history, Civil War, slavery, and civil rights content will all be found on this LibGuide. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this into the chat if any of you are interested in playing around with it today. It's an open page. You're welcome to use it in any way you like. And if you are a LibGuides customer, which I know a lot of colleges and universities are, you're welcome to copy our guides directly into your own, edit it in any way you want, and publish it as your own. All right, so I hope today's demonstration would be about 45 minutes with any questions that people have. So I'm going to stop talking and see if there are any questions out there. The chat, it looks like, has been disabled, but the Q&A is open. So if you look into your own GoToWebinar, your own Zoom page or tools, look for, it looks like little thought bubbles next to each other, Q&A, just go ahead and type in there if you have any questions at all. If you don't have questions, I want to thank you so much for coming today. We are recording this demonstration, and I'll make sure that the Discus office gets a recording, as well as the deck that I used early on, that you'll be able to use in your own demonstration should you have any demonstrations of your own. So thank you all for coming, and I will keep my eye on the Q&A. Are there any questions out there? Anything I can help any of you with? All right. Well, if not, I'll give you 5 minutes back to your day. Time is so valuable these days. Actually, it's always been valuable. Thank you all so much for your curiosity about the new Credo reference. Thank you to Discus for being such a great customer of ours for the past decade or so. Oh, yep, there's a survey monkey from Linda who would like all of you to take this survey. I'm going to drop it in the chat, everybody. I'm also going to send the survey out to all of you who have attended today. And if you could, please take the time to take it and help the State Library of South Carolina and Discus get the information they need to make solid decisions moving forward. It's a post-webinar survey. All right. Thank you, Linda. All right, guys, any other comments, questions? Nothing. Love it. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time today, and check your inbox for an upcoming follow-up from us with the post-webinar survey. Please do take that if you have the opportunity. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great day.